Hello everyone, my name is Jonathan Villaman, and today we're actually going to talk about another aspect, another element of what the AIA does. In particular, today I want to focus for the emerging professional, what AIA does for emerging professionals. As a reminder, all of this is a bit of a stream of consciousness that I'll be talking, sort of going through this, and this is not necessarily anything official. Additionally, I'd like to remind everyone about the different levels of AIA, which is the state, national, state, and local components. And I'll give a quick sort of review of what AIA does at each level. In any case, let's just get right into it. So, much like the first episode, we'll go ahead and start with the at the national level, what the AIA does. And very briefly, to consider your time, it essentially just sort of support the local, sort of the state level components, and it just sort of gives quick overview to the entire architectural community about how the process go. Right, it talks about the basics, the education, experience, examination, and licensure. It sort of just gives a very high level explanation on how things go. If you're a recently licensed architect, you know all about this. If you're on the process where you take an AREs already, then that's great. You're pretty familiar with this. There might be some things you're missing, but nonetheless, you know enough to kind of get to the end. But if you're completely new at it, AIA does a pretty good job in kind of breaking those things down. Additionally, they've started with ArchiPrep. This is a recent development. By recent, I probably mean within the last 2 years or so, where they provide study materials, of course, at a cost, but nonetheless, it may be cheaper than some of the other options that are out there, as well as helping you once again with some free resources. They particularly focus with the contract documents. They give you pretty much an example of each one of those contract documents that may be needed for the test, for one, and two, just to understand a good way, or at least a starting point, on how you may organize contractually the responsibilities of each party. Now, at a state level, of course, we're going to focus on Florida once again. Florida does offer some resources out here. Once you go to the website, you can look at what AIA does for emerging professionals. There's some resources center and so on and so forth. And once again, this starts at from people who are volunteering, like myself and others who see a lack of information or lack of resources. We propose such resources, and we use help both from members of the community as well as non-members or anybody who may ask to provide and sort of help us create this content and kind of make the profession a little bit better and sort of help us all along to kind of move forward and get these resources out there. Of course, this has been happening for many years. I've only been doing it, I was only involved with it for about 2 years, which is the term, at least at the state level. There's also some other resources for emerging professionals, virtual, PPD quizzes and webinars. I believe there was, there was quite a, let's see here. Oh, there's actually one that I actually helped put together. Quick little video there. But nonetheless, also Arsenio from Tampa, he put together a summer series for AREs. So there's plenty of resources that gets put out there by the volunteers. Now, if we're bringing down another level at the local level, so I'm using AIA Palm Beach in particular here because I've been kind of familiar with it since that was the chapter that I was an associate director for a few years back. Here, there's quite a few videos of what's there, and then there's, a resource material for ARE resources. It's a bit of a library where you get to use some of these resources for free. Of course, there's a lot of people vying for that stuff, for those resources. So sometimes it may take a little while to get to you, but nonetheless, that's an option there for you. Now, if we move over to Miami also has done the same thing where they've had live sessions, particularly through the pandemic. We focused on virtual meetings and study sessions. You can see here, these two were presented and hosted by the Young Architect Forum in conjunction with Women in Architecture as well. I believe these were like a few hours each, where there's plenty of information. Additionally, another example, once again, Orlando. Orlando has been hosting virtual ARE study sessions from the 5.0. There's some information here. You can register, you can attend, as well as, once again, a library of their resources. Even on the 4.0, some of the information may still be valuable. Not a lot of things change so quickly between one and the other. But that is sort of a very high level of what AIA as a whole, national entity, as a state entity, and as your local component, they do, or we do, for you, for us, really, because we're going through it with you all. So it's another answer to what does the AIA do? We do a heck of a lot of work on a lot of volunteer work. I gotta remind everyone on that. A lot of volunteer work on providing resources for AREs for those of us who are going through licensure process. Luckily, I've already got mine, but it's not about me anyways. So I'd like to actually take a moment here to shout out and to give some publicity to, actually, if we go back here to AIA Florida, there's going to be a hands-on training for, what's the word here that I'm looking for? It's a Master Builder program. So let's do a quick search here. This is something that we've been wanting to do for a few years, and we finally have been able to get it on the road. It's been some great work done behind closed doors. So I'll actually take a moment to find the webpage, and we'll be right back. So that way I won't take too much of your time. So actually did not take me that long to find it again. Actually happens to be here on continuing education and hands-on master builder training. So keywords here, hands-on. This program, like I said, it's been a long time where lots of people have suggested it over the years. I myself suggested it. Other people have been thinking about it on the board, but it was supposed to happen last year, 2019 actually, but actually 2020, sorry about that, 2020, but we know what happened with COVID, etc., etc. No need to rehash everything, but we're finally here where the idea is to have hands-on training. On this one, it is going to be on CMU. It's definitely used down here in South Florida, but the idea is to continue to add to the master building training, where you actually get to learn, hopefully, the ultimate goal is all different aspects of the construction. You go out there and build a CMU wall. You go out there and install some outlets. You go out there and install a sink, including all the plumbing. It's essentially taking this idea of the Habitat for Humanity, breaking it up a little bit more, where you get to go just a few hours a day, half a day somewhere, and you just learn that one thing. If you don't have the time, or there isn't the resources near where you are to fully immerse yourself in one of those Habitat for Humanity building sessions, this is a sort of bite-sized process to where you can start kind of ticking those boxes that you may have wanted to do. So on the Master Builder program for the CMU, as I said, there's actually going to be 3 sessions: Jacksonville, Tampa, and Pompano. If you are near these places, I strongly encourage you to go attend and learn how to do some CMUs. And apparently, the hands-on participation, it's going to be the CMU layout, right? How to lay it out, reinforcements, the mortar, the grout, and the actual installation. All right. There's some other things that happen here throughout the process, right? So it walks us through it. We have a little bit of a hands-on experience, and then we continue through. In any case, once again, that's part of what AIA does for emerging professionals, and that is once again students at upper and lower division, as well as those recently graduated, going through licensure and up to, you know, the young professionals or young architects, which includes 10 years of practice. In any case, have a wonderful day. See you next time. Take care.